Hi fam, and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be making vanilla cake, homemade vanilla cake. And over here I'm measuring my butter, and I'll be using 250 gram of butter. You can use butter, you can use margarine, any brand of margarine, but over here I'm using Amanda. So I'm done measuring my butter. It's time to measure my sugar. You have to tire your measuring scale in case if you're using the type of scale. You have to tire it so that it will measure the weight of the cup or bowl you will be using. Over here I'll be using 160 grams of sugar. When you are done, add it together with your butter, already measured butter. Then you mix using your hand mixer, stand mixer, spatula, stick, rolling pin, anyone that you have, you can use it over here. It's not only meant for people that have mixer, most especially you are just making it for your own consumption and your family consumption, so you don't need to stress yourself over mixer, since it's not something that you make every day. The people that are advised to use this mixer are people that are making commercial cakes. So please, I want you to understand one thing. While mixing your cake, please and please, most especially people that are using spatula or rolling pin or any stick of your choice, please turn clockwise or anti-clockwise. Don't turn clockwise and turn anti-clockwise. What do I mean by that? You turn either left or you turn right. Please don't turn left and then you turn right, because your cake will end up spoiling. So please, while mixing, make sure you are mixing either clockwise or anti-clockwise. But if you're using hand mixer, you don't need to worry. You can mix either clockwise or anti-clockwise. That's the clockwise stuff is meant for people that are using turning stick, that are turning theirs manually. So here I'm done creaming the cake, so I will be using my spatula to also cream it a little bit before adding other ingredients. So how do you know that you are done creaming? The butter will be whiter than it is, because margarine is normally yellow in color, so it will start turning white. And also the sugar you used must have blended very well with the butter. So when you are done with the creaming, you will now break your egg. I will be using 4 eggs for 250 grams of butter. And please, while breaking your egg, get 2 different plates. You break in one plate and then you transfer it to the other plate, because 1 egg can spoil up to 50 eggs. You might break the bad one last and all your egg will end up spoiling and you will not be able to use it while baking. So please get 2 plates. When you break, you put another one. I know it won't be easy, but in order to save your money and your time, you need to do this. So when you are done with the breaking of eggs, your whisk, you can use your whisk or you can use your fork if you don't have whisk. The one thing I love about cake is that you can make cake even without having the tools, because when I started first, I didn't have all these tools, and I can make a cake and decorate a cake without all these tools. So please make sure that your egg is very fluffy. Mix your eggs till it's very fluffy, because it contributes a lot in your cake, both moisturizing, rising, making it soft, and many more. So make sure you whisk your egg very well till it's fluffy, like I'm doing mine. And how do you know it's fluffy? When you see that it has become foamy and have mixed very well. So when you are done with that, now it's time to measure your flour. I made mistake here while trying to measure my flour. You don't put your plate first. You have to on your scale, then put your plate. So over here I'll be using 250 grams of flour. we call this measurement 50-50. You use 250 gram of flour for 250 gram of butter. That's called 50-50 measurement, and that's the best measurement as a beginner. So when you're done measuring your flour, you add in your baking powder. I'll be using half tablespoon of baking powder. Baking powder contributes in rising of cake, but please don't add too much, because when you add too much, your cake will over-rise, and what will happen then is you start breaking into pieces. You will cut your cake and your cake will not be able to hold. It will be like things fall apart. So please don't use too much baking powder in your cake. So when you're done with the measurements, you sieve. This sieve is very, very important, because you can see some brown particles that I sieve out from my flour. And it's not just sieving out dirt, it also helps, it also contributes in softening of cake. It makes your cake to be soft when you sieve your flour very well, and other ingredients. It's not just your flour, other ingredients that need to be sieved. So when you are done with the sieving part, it's time to add in your egg. So you add your egg bit by bit. There is one thing you are going to notice at this stage, but you don't need to panic. Your egg won't cooperate with your butter and sugar very well. It will be separating. Your egg will be separating and your butter will be separating. But keep mixing it, and make sure you're mixing it bit by bit. Don't use because they are not cooperating and add everything once. Please be mixing it bit by bit by bit till you exhaust the egg, please. And also at the last part, please be aware of eggshell before you add eggshell inside your cake. When you're done with that part, it's time to add in your flavor. I'll be using vanilla flavor because I'm making vanilla cake, and you can also add an additional flavors like milk zest, butterscotch, buttermilk flavor, super milk flavor, milk emulsion. I like pairing my vanilla with milky flavor, not using maybe strawberry flavor or lemon flavor. No. I like pairing it with super milk emulsion, butterscotch, and others. So I used 1 tablespoon of flavor because this is not a pure extract. I think it has been adulterated in the market, so that's why I use 1 tablespoon. But if you are using pure one, please use 1 teaspoon. So when you are done adding your flavor, it's time to add in your flour. Please add in your flour bit by bit. And not just that, you fold. You don't mix, you fold. Because when you fold, when you mix, your batter will end up being strong like stone. So please fold. Don't cream, fold, and don't overmix, please. So you can also use your hand. You can equally use your hand here, but please wash your hand very well, most especially when you are making it for your client. Wash your hands very well at this stage if you want to use your hand, but if you can fold gently, you can use using your spatula. I'm very sorry, it's raining over here, so you might be hearing a strange sound. Please forgive me, but I believe that you can still hear me. We are almost done. So we will be mixing your flour bit by bit, like I said, either with your hand or with your spatula or with your rolling pin. And while mixing, please be monitoring your batter to know when it's becoming too thick, because if you don't cream your butter and your sugar very well, the butter will be very thick while mixing in your flour. So please be monitoring it. So over here, I'll be adding my milk when I'm done with all the ingredients. My milk is coming last because I want to use it to soften my batter. I always use milk to soften my batter. When my batter is very thick, I'll will use my milk and soften it. So over here I added 1/3 cup of water to my batter. You'll be adding your milk bit by bit so that your batter will not be too runny. So when you get the consistency that you want, you can stop adding your milk, whether you measured 1/3. But if the 1/3 is not enough, you can measure more till you get the consistency that you want. Some people love having a runny batter, depending how moist, how soft you prefer your cake. So over here you can also use your hand. You can also use your hand to mix it so that you won't overmix. Be careful at this stage so that you won't overmix. So when you are done with your batter, you can raise up your spatula to know whether it is running or you already achieved the consistency that you want. So over here I'll be using 2 pans. Please grease your pan. I repeat, grease your pan with butter and then sprinkle some flour. I'm using double pan for it. You can use only one, but I want it to bake faster. That's why I'm using 2 pans for it. When you are done, you spread the butter so that it will touch every end of your pan. Then you heat your pan either on the floor or any surface that you're using that is not breakable. So you heat your butter so that air will not cooperate inside and you end up having a holes and your cake will also be hard. So you bake for 30 minutes or more. Keep checking it to know when it's done, but you open your oven only when it has reached 30 minutes. You stick in toothpick inside your cake. When it's come out clean, that means your cake is done. But if it come out with a batter, please continue baking even when you have baked for 30 minutes. That's why I like using this method of separating it in 2 pans so that it will bake faster. So when you are done, you put it in your cake pot or any surface so that it will cool down. Thanks for watching. Bye.